let's talk about some of the guys that helped Drake Maye at least get to a B+. And that is the wide receivers. That A.J. Brown-Drake Maye connection feels ready to go, man.
Yeah.
That field, like, do you have any questions about where A.J. Brown's at with the playbook, with Drake, health-wise, with any of it? Or because I'm almost like put him in bubble wrap, give him a week 1.
I'm still waiting for both A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs to show more chemistry with Drake over the middle and on timing routes.
You think over the middle? I think Brown's been great over the middle.
Well, you're thinking of like slants, I think,
Okay.
and like
Those
maybe
are
some
automatic.
curls.
The slants are automatic.
Exactly.
right
I'm
now.
talking about like digs,
More down the
crossing
field.
routes where they
Okay.
just had a miss, and we've seen like all of the most egregious misses. I think outside of like there was that one vertical route have been crossing routes to A.J. Brown. So I think those that do require more chemistry and timing. Those still need to get figured out, but I tweeted it last night. If you're going to build the plane early on out of jump balls, back shoulders, and just letting your big guys win on the sideline or like box their guys out, I'm cool with that. So they still have a ways to go, but I think when you're like, hey, if it's a crucial situation and I just need to get my guy the ball and give him a chance, in that vein, definitely more AJ than Doubs, but Doubs is coming along very well too. So, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable in that.
A.J. Brown down there somewhere.
Yeah,
Screw it.
And I'm with you on the just throw it up to him. I'm down with you I agree with you on the A.J. Brown stuff. Dobbs, I still like to want to see a little bit more. I know we talked about it earlier. He was kind of getting locked up a little bit today, but even Drake Maye and him now kind of have the rapport and the connection for Drake to put it in a spot, and he knows Dobbs is going to go get it there. He toe taps along the sideline and makes a great play. So
they had that great connection. So just to fill it in up the right sideline, I don't know if it was a fade or a go that he kind of ran from the inside. It wasn't straight up the field. He's kind of like angling towards the sideline, but the whole route, it's not a corner.
He's trying to like skirt the red line and give himself enough space. It's
Right.
literally, I mean, it literally was textbook. Like you
It's a
see
good
Romeo
route.
Doubs not too close to the sideline, and because he gave himself that space, he kind of got
Drake
the fade
puts it right in the
underneath it and catch it
bucket,
over.
and
It was
so
gorgeous.
that's the. And then I think he had a touchdown catch too on the corner.
Yeah, he
Yes.
actually
Right.
created some separation.
Yeah,
too,
got away, and
which-
that was away from Cam Taylor-Britt. Like that he wasn't getting away from somebody who's not going to make the team. So
A.J. Brown also had a corner touchdown with one hand.
he
That was
did.
pretty
Yeah,
sick, too.
he's been having some one-handed catches. Pop had a good one-handed catch, but on
Pop's been
Dobbs.
having a great summer. Sorry,
We'll get to Pop. We're gonna get to Pop. We're gonna get to Kyle Williams because we both have things to say on that. I know, Taylor. On Dobbs, Brian, like it felt like he had a couple good days last week. Then he had a couple quiet days, missed that time, came back, has been good since. He's running hot and cold. It's hard to really get a pulse of where he's at. There hasn't been a lot of consistency one way or the other. Where are you at with Romeo Doubs?
Kind of the same thing with AJ, what Taylor said. Like, it's still some of that timing stuff that's struggling over the middle. But the last 2 days, what's really stood out to me with Doubs is how he's winning. It's like the go up and get it, the jump balls, the physical plays, using those strong hands. That's how you saw him win in Green Bay a lot, where some of the other instances, like he's really wearing coverage, right? Like Kendall Vildor down the sideline yesterday, a couple times against the Colts today. So it's just a very different player than Stephon Diggs was kind of in that role last year, where Diggs was, really slippery, a really good route runner, could create separation, and Doubs is just more of a bigger body, and he might wear some of that coverage, but then you need, as Mike said, kind of that chemistry with Drake and just the trust to go up and get it, and maybe they're kind of developing that these last 2 days with Doubs making some plays.
So beyond the top receivers, we all have our guys that we've kind of planted our flag
islands.
for. So you know how I feel about that. You know who was really good again today? Pop Douglas, who's still their starting slot receiver, by the way. Drake Maye hitting him multiple times in that 1 minute before the interception. Did underthrow him on the interception. But are there questions left about Pop Douglas? I feel like there's less and less, but I just want to keep getting this takeoff because I had to hear all spring that he wasn't making the team. It feels, Taylor, you said he's having a good summer, and every time you say, oh, he always has a good summer. He's practice play. What are you going to do in the regular season? And guys had 600 yards. It was 2 years ago, but he's had it.
from who?
From
Bailey
mostly
Zappi.
Drake.
Mac.
From Mike's exciting
No,
whites.
it was 24.
Bailey Zappi.
The year he led the.
That was Mac
Oh,
and
it might have been
Zappi.
mostly Zappy.
Yeah.
I'll shut
The
up.
year he had 600 yards was 24, wasn't it?
So Mac lost
I
to the
don't
Colts.
think. I don't know.
Anyway.
I'll look it up.
Well, yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Derailing the show
Taylor.
from Mac.
Bailey's happy talk, really. Taylor, like you said, he's had a good summer. I've given my take on this. Why is this different than the last few years? Because it's not just the last 2 years was Pop on his own. It was impressive what he was doing, getting open, whatever, mostly with the twos. Now it's with the ones, and it's not just that he's getting open. It feels like he's on the same page with Drake Maye, which even the last 2 summers, I remember saying Pop had a good day, he got open, but it was incomplete. Drake Maye missed him, he ran the wrong route, whatever, yada, yada, yada. outside of the interception today, there really hasn't been that qualifier. So I don't know if you feel the same, because you just said he had a good summer, but I do think this year, and we'll see whether or not translate. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to translate, but it does feel different. Brian, by the way, do you have it?
620 yards and 24, 560 yards
so
and
it was
23.
Like mostly Drake Maye, a little bit of
because he had that one really big game on Drake's first start, right, against the Texans.
That's right.
And he had like over
One in the
100 something
middle,
yards. Yeah. So
Taylor, where are you at? Like you said, Pop's had a great summer. Why?
I think the dimension he's added is being more reliable downfield, or at least Drake looks more comfortable hitting him downfield in the red zone as well. Like those corner routes, I feel like he does such a good job creating separation. And when he doesn't, very similar to Efton Chism, he just goes up and wins the ball. And I think that's what you're seeing. I can't remember a play where DeMario got open or had a tough catch to make and didn't come down with it. I really cannot remember a lot of wasted opportunities that he's had. The one thing I will critique is I feel like they're still building some rapport on those shallow crossers, those jukes, because there's just been a few times where Pop either settles or he keeps going and he has to make a catch behind him or something like that.
On the one
exactly.
the Titans catch from last year.
Literally, that's exactly what it was. And I feel like I've seen that like 3 or 4 different practices, which is not the worst thing in the world, but I do like that's one critique I still have is I don't know, I just don't know if he has great feel for that necessarily. I know Todd Downing gave him credit, and there's a lot of different option routes. Like it's not just juke, even though that's the most popular one that they run in terms of like what people usually know about, but it's really the downfield proficiency, winning in the red zone, and Drake just seeming more comfortable throwing to him. Like it feels like it pops open, Drake finds him, whereas in years past we've been like, is he getting phased out because all he's catching is shallow crossers? Like does he actually like Pop, or is he just the outlet receiver? It feels like that's the next step that's been taken.
So it feels, and I agree with you, and I've said this for a long time, like people compare Pop to Edelman and Welker. I think he's more like Chris Hogan. Like that vertical, he's not the traditional Patriots slot receiver. He should be used more as of a vertical player. If he was 5'11" instead of 5'8", I think everybody would see it. But because he's shorter, they see him on the inside.
It's a scorching hot sports summer, and you can make all of your picks on Prize Picks. Women's basketball, baseball, both heating up, and football preseason is finally here. There's also big tennis slams, golf tournaments, and more on the horizon. And there's no better place for all of your summer sports picks than on Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Patriots taking on the Colts on Thursday night. We will have plenty of Prize Picks lineups for you guys all across the channel, so make sure you keep it here. Follow along if you wish, and if you want to do so, all you got to do is download the app today and use code CLNS to get $150 instantly in lineups if you win your first $5 lineup. Again, just download the app today and use code CLNS to get $150 instantly in lineups if you win your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app.
But okay, Pop's going to be better if he runs more vertically. Romeo Doubs, as he's kind of gotten better, it's been less underneath, more vertically. A.J. Brown's done some underneath stuff, but we know he's here to run more vertically. Well, you can't just run deep balls the whole game. Somebody is going to carve out a role as the underneath receiver. Brian?
Efton Chism, baby.
Is the door opening for Efton Chism to have a bigger role? I will say this. I've noticed about Chism, and you guys know this with me. I fought with you guys about this last year when all the Chism hype was happening, that it's all with the twos. You need to calm down. Like, that isn't necessarily, it might be reflective of a guy that's going to make the roster. It's not reflective of a guy that's going to play. Chism still isn't getting a ton of time with the ones. It's more than last year, and it's been becoming more and more as summer's gone on. He is out there pretty reliably when they go into that 1 minute, which again are the reps that I'm going to put the most weight on. Is Chism positioning himself for like a legit? I don't think he's going to be a starter to start the year, but like a legit rotational role, like 4th guy, 5th guy.
I think so right now. You know, he's out there in those situations. He's also out there a lot in the red zone, right? Yep. And we've heard Mike Vrabel say, if you want to play wide receiver for this team, like, you need to block, right? And that's something he complimented Efton Chism on again today. Like, great blocking, great play strength. And then, when you need that kind of short, intermediate routes, like, you probably don't want to build the whole offense in that style when you have Drake Maye, who's so good at pushing the ball down the field, and you have these vertical threats and wide receivers. But you can't just be non-existent in that area, as you just said. And I think he absolutely thrives in there. Every time he's out there, just knows where to be in the right spot all the time, and just can get open very quickly. So, I think the packages, we've seen him out there with Drake Maye. Drake Maye will throw him the football, too. They have some chemistry. Like, I think he definitely has a role in this offense.
The way he's repping right now, that's a guy that's going to play like 30, 35% of the time, maybe eat into some of Mac Hollins snaps, maybe eat in
Who's on the team?
If Kayshon Boutte gets traded, kind of eat into a little bit of that time.
Well, and you mentioned Mac and Boutte there too. It's like Chism and Douglas have really been the only guys who have been like a straight line, if not up, throughout the entire summer. I feel like everyone else has been really hot, really cold. Mac Hollins is at a couple days, then he doesn't make any plays. Kayshon Boutte was hot early, has kind of been phased out a little bit lately.
AJ Brown started cold, but it's been
he's in an upward trajectory. Yeah, that's
especially
fair.
when he's going up against Gonzo all the time.
Yeah, that's also that.
But AJ Brown's also like a multi-time All-Pro, and he's
so you kind of expect
that.
that. But as far as consistency and guys like Efton Chism, who was rarely even active last year, and Pop Douglas, who has been hot and cold for the majority of his career, to see those guys really continuing to have that rapport with Drake Maye is great to see.
And the other thing, like, he can certainly play the slot and back up Pop, but like the versatility, he'll be out there like sharing the field at times with Pop Douglas, in the Z flanker type role, so he can really move around and do a lot of different things.
Again, that's one, and this is where Josh McDaniels comes in. I don't think you want to major in that. I don't think you want to live in that. That's a really small offense, and you're going to run into trouble at times. But having that card to play, and maybe there's one game where there's a matchup where you can exploit that, and you run it heavy, and then maybe we don't see it for a couple games or whatever. I think that's out there. But okay, so Efton Chism, and this is all because he had a good day today, dominant rep in one-on-ones. I think he had a handful of catches in team, right? Mostly with the second unit, but had some catches in team.
He had one in the 1 minute right before the interception.
He had the one in the 1 minute, little quick out. So, all right, so Pop's having a good camp. Mac Hollins, I still think he's going to be here, just based on the usage. So that leaves the guy that we still haven't really seen with the ones, and that's Kyle Williams. He continues to tear it up with the twos. And that's not nothing, but it's also not everything. Maybe the most encouraging thing for him today, and I don't mean this like in a negative way, he was the first kick returner.
Yeah.
And
showed some vision on that return.
If that's a role, like if you're preparing for that role, you're expecting him to be on the team if he's going to be the starting kick returner, right? It was him and Terrell Jennings, and then it was Efton Chism and Lynn Larison with second group. Taylor, where are you at with Kyle Williams? I know we talked about this on the last one, and Vrabel had talked about this. It sounds like he might be a package player. He might be a game plan player. You'll only see him in certain matchups in certain weeks in certain situations, but still not getting those reps with the ones. What's ahead for him in the second half of camp here, and how crucial is Thursday night for him?
Well, I think it's notable that he continues to just cook anybody who goes up against him in one-on-ones. The reps are on there. The Patriots uploaded them. I think we did at CLNS as well. Very hard to guard, especially in press technique when he's coming off the line of scrimmage. So there's that. He also did catch a post today from Tommy DeVito, who scored a touchdown, showed some solid contact balance at the end of that rep. So, look, I do want to set the record straight because I know it was reported that Kyle Williams is not showing up sometimes and hasn't done anything. I disagree. I think if you watch this show, at least we mentioned is it consistent on a down-to-down basis? No. There will be times where he'll have a drop, but then he'll make up for it later. But I think it is completely unfair to say that Kyle Williams doesn't have at least one standout play in almost every practice.
Especially the first few days of camp, he didn't do much. The last week or so, and I forget if I said this to you off the air on the last show. He actually stylistically but just the pattern in which he goes about camp reminds me a lot of Kayshon Boutte the first couple of years.
That's fair.
Because what Kayshon Boutte would do is he would have this one day where he'd have 2 or 3 great catches, and everybody would be like, oh my God, what a player. Why aren't you talking more about this guy? Because then we wouldn't see him for a week. And then he'd make it, so it's more it's a little more day-to-day, but
I don't think there's stretches where he's quiet.
It's not, but it's he has one big play every practice, and that's kind of it. And that's kind of the player he is.
And also, how many times has he been overthrown? To be fair, there's 3 or 4 times this summer where he's open and the ball doesn't get to him.
Drake finally throws him one downfield, and his feet get tangled with the corner, and he ends up on the ground, which was disappointing.
The flashes are there. It's just consistency, which isn't uncommon for a young player, but it is something that that to me is where when he's more consistent. That's where his role is going to increase.
That's completely fair. I think that's very fair. And I think that's why the preseason will be very significant because, when it's a game environment, when the contact is going and it's live, can you string positive plays together? Can you not have the drop? Can you make sure you're on the same page as your quarterback? I'm not sitting here saying that Kyle Williams is a finished product or that he's perfect. I think the fact that Kyle Williams does get opportunities over him is in part because he's very alignment versatile, but also that, with Chism, you know exactly what you're going to get every single time he's out there. So Kyle's not perfect in this preseason game, in this preseason preseason in general will be big for him to see, like, okay, how much have you grown since last season? Because we knew you were good off the line. We know you can track the deep ball. We know that if no one gets their hands on you and you're behind them, you're probably going to take it to the house. But can you be more of a professional? And every time we're out there like a Chism, you're like, oh yeah, we can rely on Kyle Williams. Like, I think that's fair, but I just think it's disingenuous to act like he's just quiet out here, because I don't think that's the case. And even if he's not necessarily catching the ball, he's still showing out because he's creating a ton of separation. And very rarely is there somebody like on his back if he's not running like a curl or a comeback where you kind of expect tight coverage.
All right, so Taylor's Kyle Williams, Brian is Efton Chism, I have Pop Douglas. Mike, who's your receiver?
Romeo Doubs. I've always liked Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs
I mean, I feel like he's more like he's going to make the team. He's going to have a role.
Do you have a depth
look for
receiver?
Digeneiro
Do you have a Digeneiro take
Oh, a
for us,
depth
or
guy,
a Cameron Dorner take for it? We kind of took the guys at the back end of the roster,
what
unless
do
you want to get on a
what do you want
soapbox.
from me? Kayshon
Matt
Boutte.
Collins.
Yeah, I'll take Kayshon Boutte.
All right.
Kayshon Boutte's great, and he's going to get traded. So.
Yeah, just take real quick here.
I didn't see
taking
Chris Ballard down here today.
I did not
looking
see
at
Chris
him.
Ballard.
Yeah, I know, you're right. We talked about
I'll
that.
watch it from a perch.
the Colts.
Him
And I know they didn't
him
have
and
some
Elliott
guys, but
were-
Colts need some wide receiver.
Yes,
Yeah, they
that
do.
is a team that. Real quick, take temperature on it because we haven't talked about it. Week 1, Kayshon Boutte here, yes or no? Mike, you just gave your answer. Taylor,
No, I don't think so.
Brian,
No.
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
Barring injury, I don't see it.
Right? Yeah, like as things exist right now,
Yeah.
if the Patriots lose a receiver, that could obviously change.